Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's E3 2015, Day 3, and I'll tell you what, I'm incredibly excited about this next segment. This is a game that I've been waiting for since the moment I finished the first one, and a franchise that I have been playing since its debut early in the late 90s on the PlayStation. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Brian, the game director for Rise of the Tomb Raider, joining us.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, I'm really excited. As Anna was telling you before, when we divvy up the segments, it's basically just like, okay, the fans of all of the different things just snatch up what they can. So you've got me and Anna just basically be like, the first game was so great with the reboot. Loved it. We can't wait to see what you're going to bring us, and hopefully you'll tell us a little bit about the game today.
Well, I'm excited to be here with you guys. Twitch is pretty amazing, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you. That's awesome. So let's talk about it. The reboot took place, which is already a hard task. You've got this really beloved franchise, and you've got the tough task of rebooting. But it was amazing, and there are moments in that game that actually. There is the moment in that game, and if you haven't played it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but for those who know Lara's arsenal, then there's a moment at the end of the game that just made me go, yeah, that was awesome. It was great.
Well, that was a labor of love for the team at Crystal. We had to take some big risks, but we're really pleased with the result. But what I'm really excited to talk about is Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yes.
It is Lara's first great tomb raiding expedition, and it's a continuing journey of Lara's story, and it's just great to be able to talk about that at E3 this year.
I'm hearing a lot about how the tombs are going to play a big part in this, and how we're going to have a main story tomb, but there also might be opportunities for us to kind of explore as Lara, right?
Oh, absolutely. The challenge tombs that we have in the game complement our primary tombs, and our tombs are much larger. They're much more intense as far as like the puzzle solving. We have a new nested puzzle formula, which means that there are multiple puzzles to solve in any one tomb. So that gives us more opportunity to be in a space longer. We have the spaces are bigger themselves, much more epic in scale, and we get to use our traversal, we get to use our combat and our puzzle solving all in one in-tomb space.
Yeah, I mean, that's really exciting for me, being a fan of both the old and the new, right? Because the new brought so much more. The technology has changed what you guys are able to do and all the amazing things. But then, of course, Tomb Raider's built around that exploration and that sort of how majestic all of these big areas are. So it sounds like, especially from even the fans who have been seeing it and who you've been talking to, that people are saying this really does an awesome job of capturing what originally they did in the first games. Is that how you feel, that this opens it up so much more than it was even in the past?
Absolutely. Exploration is key to the franchise for Tomb Raider, and our exploration spaces, our hubs, are now 3 times larger than they were in the last Tomb Raider game, and that's just not bigger to be big. We have more things to do, like collections, challenges, allies that we can get missions from. We have more of our challenge tombs actually come from the exploration spaces, so the full experience of running to get lost in a space is there for you. But if you appreciate that fast-paced, story-driven experience, that's there for you as well. But if you do explore these spaces, you're going to be able to upgrade your character. Lara has 16 unique things that she can collect in the world through hunting or just through gathering, and then she'll be able to upgrade her weapons and her ammunition. And this player choice, this ability to be stealthy in an environment, is really we're bringing that to the next level in Rise of the Tomb Raider.
The player choice is something I was really interested in, because all of us fans have this connection to Lara that's just so close. That's someone we've grown up with in gaming, and I've seen a lot about the decisions you can make in terms of where to go in tombs, like you were saying, but also in terms of how to engage in combat. And there's some sneaking elements and some ways that you could be lethal or non-lethal, right?
Yep, that is the key to Rise right now. Is we give both. You're going to be able to have some assault combat that's very exciting and loud, as we call it. Right. We also have the ability to go quiet, and we've introduced new traversal mechanics. Lara can now climb trees. She can swim underwater, and we use that not only for traversal fun, but also as a way to evade or approach enemies from above or below and take them out unseen. So this brings us new tools to the arsenal for the player that wants to have a more stealthy approach.
Sure.
And in addition to that, we're able to craft more things on the fly. So if we have new ammunition types like poison arrows. You craft those on your bow, and you'll be able to take out multiple enemies with one area effect cloud. And these kinds of mechanics really give the game player more tools to play the game they want to the way they want to play it.
Which is really, as a gamer, what we want, right? Like I like to be, Russian attack. I like to go hard, but I can appreciate when my friends are like, I like to play the slow, steady wins a race, or I like to play the creative way, where it's like sometimes I'll stealth, sometimes I'll go all out, or I see great opportunities to utilize some of the other mechanics. And
well, that's kind of the charm of Lara, right? Is that she's so resourceful, she can do both of those things, and so you can experiment with which side of her you like, I guess.
Yeah, we think that Lara is one of the smartest characters in video games. She's smart, clever, resourceful, and it's that resourcefulness that we're really trying to get out of the player as well. If you've got a play style that you like, go ahead and embrace that, and then make the Lara Croft that you want to play throughout this adventure.
And you brought some footage, right,
Yeah.
for us to check out. I definitely want to see this beautiful game in action more. I mean, you were at the press conference as well, and as we went through and sort of what we've seen, obviously the gorgeous lighting. You guys really brought this world to life in the previous game. As far as new locales and new areas, I assume that in comparison to what we visited in the last game, that we're going to have a whole new slew of locations that we'll be visiting.
Yeah, so we've in the Microsoft presentation, we've showed Lara and Jonah adventuring to the hostile peaks of Siberia on this epic adventure to try to find the lost city of Katesh. We like to pull off myths that we call Googleable myths, something that you can find, but we take our own twist on it.
Sure.
But nothing's easy in the world of Tomb Raider. This is the most hostile region, one of the most hostile regions in the world, and Lara, as you will see in this footage, is caught in this avalanche, which separates her from her companion. And then we bring those survival skills back, the things that she learned on Yamatai in the last game come to bear, but now she has more confidence. She's going into this mission prepared. You can see her with her climbing jacket and her gear. She's aware of the danger she's going into, and I think that's a big important part of her character evolution. Is she's not just reacting in a survival sense, she's proactively seeking out these truths.
Well, and that's one thing that I know that many fans of the reboot were, left wanting more. Like, you've given us now a sort of retelling of this character and so much. And there's another part I want to ask you about that I think that, fits into that. But how much more are we going to dive into the past and then the present and then what we think maybe the future of Lara is as a Tomb Raider? Like, how much are we going to dive into that?
Character growth is extremely important to us. We want Lara to feel as human and believable as we can make her. In doing so, that you have to explore not only her present state but also her past. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that. But the story parallels her journey and her becoming the Tomb Raider. That's what this whole story is about. Is if in the last game she glimpsed something, now she's seeking that out.
Right.
And she's embracing her own destiny.
So we're seeing her ambition kind of come to bear here?
For sure. That her ambition, her drive is almost to the point of obsession. She's seen something on Yamatai, she's glimpsed something that isn't of this earth, and she's going across the world to try to find other examples of this, and that's where the lost city of Katesh becomes part of her obsession.
Which I love because, even people said, like, wait a second, this can't be Lara. Like, she's questioning herself here in this situation, but naturally, right? Like, someone doesn't just born and say, I'm going to go raid too. Like, it is about what has happened to her and then how she now is this person and growing into that
and
person.
Along that same vein, I want to ask, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm so excited about this. How much more are we going to get to be the badass Lara in this one?
Well, a lot of that comes down to the evolution of the story and the choices that you make as a player. So if you have an aggressive style, our upgrade paths for all of our weapons, you can start to invest in those aggressive things. Empowering up your weapon for those assault, which I think, Marcus, you would really appreciate.
Great.
So if you want to go for assault-style combat, you've got the ability to choose to use the resources you collect to upgrade Lara in that way, and embrace that. There are going to be moments in the game that we force assault combat. It is a part of our formula, but whenever we can, we want to give that player the ability to say, well, on the last game we had some criticism of there was a little too much combat. we felt that then let's embrace that without changing the overall formula, just
I like that
providing
a lot.
more choice.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I want to ask, because when Tomb Raider came out, the reboot, we had this debate amongst friends, and it was about some of the unfortunate events that would happen to Laura if you died or misstepped or did it. And on one hand, people are like, oh, it's like so crazy and creative and all these things. And then we had this other side where we're like, it's interesting because I feel like some of these actually have brought me closer to the character, because there were instances that were so brutal and so incredibly crushing.
They were hard.
That you you never wanted to see that. And so I think that brought a connection between Lara and the character. So I ask, will we potentially see some missteps from Laura? Is there any credibility to
Well, we
that
believe
theory?
drama has to have a high if you want to set up high stakes, you need to have the consequence of that, and know that, I don't want that to happen again. I better try harder. I better get better at this game. So we believe that is the right recipe for us. Is we have to give the payoff for the stakes, right? High stakes equal heavy consequences for failure. But in general, we believe we've created a game in Rise of the Tomb Raider that really gives the player that next experience. The classic Tomb Raider fan is going to find the tombs are really back in Tomb Raider, and the fan of the action, roller coaster ride, that is there as well. So we believe we're addressing feedback, but at the same time doubling down on the things that people loved about the last game.
Cool.
I want to ask another question. You talked about sort of the scale of this game and with the tombs and how you've got sort of the embedded puzzles or puzzles within puzzles. How hard is that to design? And do you guys start from the end and out, or out and in? I mean, because some of the stuff that you did, even in the last game, and what we've been teased about in this game, I gotta imagine that's tough.
We still embrace physics-based puzzles. We love that style. That's something that we've added. We've been doing at Crystal for quite some time.
Yeah.
But what we did this time is we just said, what about the big door? And what does the big door mean? Well, the big door is our goal. We want to get through the big door. But to get there, there's multiple obstacles in our way to achieve that goal and stage that out. So we talk about that first in our puzzle design. And then it's about how can we just introduce this thing, this tool or this obstacle. How do I challenge the player in that way? So you get something, you get to use something, and you build on that skill set, and you start to say, all right, you've done this before and you've done this before. Let's put those together. Now I have two different things to learn to get through this puzzle. And we try to make it as organic as we can, and puzzles are hard. There's just no doubt about it. The puzzles take us the longest to get right, because in Tomb Raider, we want them not only to be fun and challenging, but they have to be contextualized. You have to feel like they're a part of this environment.
Right.
Along those same lines, in terms of game design, one of the things that we haven't even touched on, but that's huge for these games, is the visual design and her hair, the way it moves, and her facial expressions being so real. What went into taking that to the next level in this game?
We've completely reinvented our facial animation technology. It's all now based on a technology with blend shapes, which means the artist can pose every single frame and micro position on Lara's face. And those are all blended together and taken through this technology called MOVA, which allows 1,000 points of data from Camilla Luddington to get translated onto our model. So you're seeing micro details, micro expressions, so you can get acting without words. And that was our goal, to achieve something. When you looked at her expression, it told a story. Our artists have done an amazing job bringing these details all the way through the wrinkles on her lips. When she purses, you can actually see those wrinkle compressions, and the pores stretch on the skin, and of course furrowing of the brow. All these small little micro expressions, we've been studying these things to make sure that Lara has the most rich, expressive face that we can give her, so we can feel those emotions when Camilla's delivering these fantastic scenes for us. Mm-hmm. So that was a big investment for the team, and in addition to all the lighting and materials and really getting the power of the Xbox One completely out there for the player. And we've been 100% dedicated at Crystal Dynamics to make sure that we are maximizing the power of the Xbox.
Awesome. And November 10th is when we get to get our hands on this wonderful game.
That's right. Rise of the Tomb Raider is coming out November 10th for Xbox One and Xbox 360.
Well, is there anything that we have missed? I mean, I really just want to then start diving into the story, but I know I just need to wait until November 10th until I can.
I actually have one more quick question.
Okay, let's go. Fire.
Because you're talking about design, and I think I'm a really visual gamer, so that matters a lot to me. And something that has been a big part of Tomb Raider is, you know, you always see these kind of Lara from the beginning, Lara now, and how she's evolved. And one of the big focuses is always, what is she wearing and why and all of that. And I was really refreshed to see, like you said, she's in full gear that represents what she's actually doing. Mm-hmm. What are we going to see in terms of, you know, we have fans of the original Tomb Raider, so what are we going to see that looks like the nostalgia? And then what are we going to see that's new and kind of taking this, the smartest video game character that you know, and putting that into how she looks?
One of the cool features we've added for those that really like to see Lara in different ways is every costume that we create for the game has an evolution to it. So it shows a wear and tear and progression. And then the player will also be able to select whatever outfit they want. Cool little anecdote. Someone came in and played our game and said, I just felt so bad for Lara in this cold environment. I put her in the snow jacket the entire time. And I love that anecdote because they cared about a digital character enough to feel that she was cold and that they wanted her to be warm. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we give the player this ability to change their outfit based on the situation they want, and that we have progression of the outfit based on the situation and the story, we see a character growth and a choice space. Now, as far as what's classic, there's things about Lara Croft that we really like to maintain, which is the M shape of her lips and the brown eyes and the ponytail. Those are some of our classic features. But we've evolved a bit from the two pistols and shorts because we don't think that there's anything wrong with that. We love the classic core look, but in order to make her feel as grounded as we can, we have to think about her. What outfit would she wear here? And we don't look at it as a uniform. These are clothes, practical clothes. Our team actually goes out and we purchase real clothes and use that as a foundation for everything Lara wears.
Awesome. Yeah. Brian, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Rise of the Tomb Raider, Xbox One and Xbox 360 on November 10th, 2015. I'll be playing it. You'll be playing it. We'll set the date. We've got more coming at you live from E3 2015. It's our final day here. I know that we've just dropped all sorts of gaming bombs on you all week long, but we're not done yet. Keep it locked right here. We've got more coming at you